Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you for joining another episode of the Sensual Womb Whispers, a podcast by the House of Sacred Space. And we're back again with Rihaab on Unfiltered. I should apologize that we did not have an episode last week because Madam was traveling and she was traveling for work, and we're so proud of her. This is why we say we need loud women's voices. And she was traveling for work, and I was also feeling lazy to record a solo episode. So that's what I'm apologizing. And we're back again with Rehab. Rehab, how are you?
I'm doing great. Excited to be back. Honestly, missed this while I was abroad, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So
You
I'm
gotta
back
do
this
what you
week.
gotta do.
Excited.
Rahab, just for the audience to know, what exciting stuff did you do during your 1 week or couple of days that you were traveling?
Wow. So because it was a work trip, it was a lot of back-to-back work-related events like conventions and networking events, fam tours. But so I went to Malaysia, and
Okay.
believe it or not, one of the things I was most excited about was, I know this is going to be very contentious because not everyone likes it, but I love durian. I am obsessed with durian. And I was really worried. The first thing I thought of is when I saw my schedule and it was packed back to back. And I was like, you know what? I doubt I'm even going to get to have it this time around. But I manifested it. I was like, you know what? I have to find a way. I have to find durian somehow. And believe it or not, my hotel was adjoining the World Trade Center. And right
Okay.
in between that, on the second day, they had this pop up. So they had the cultural performances, local Malaysian cuisine, their clothes, batik, all of that. And guess what I see? And actually, before I saw it, I smelled it. It was the
Are
most
you?
stunning. It was very expensive, off
Yes.
season, but absolutely worth it. So I was very happy. That was the highlight of my trip, quite
Oh,
honestly.
wow. Durian.
I know, the most random thing, but I love, love, love durian. So
See, I went to Malaysia during the summer. I went to Singapore and then I went to Malaysia for 3 days. We saw durian everywhere because it was the summer. It was durian, the summer fruit. Yeah, so it was there like out there. The whole place, every supermarket you went to, there was durians.
yeah, unfortunately for me, it was a lot of events and back, events and
Yeah.
back. So we had no time anywhere. So if I didn't find durian here, that was it for me. So I was really manifesting that I get durian, and it worked out. I mean, who would have thought I would find durian randomly between, our hotel, the space between our hotel and the World Trade Center.
Well,
Amazing.
you want
Fantastic
well,
durian, by the way. It was amazing. So I'm
well,
so happy.
you wanted it, and you got it. As simple as
Yes.
that. As
Wanted
simple
seems
as
an understatement at this point.
you want it and you get it. It's as simple
Yes.
as that. Okay, yo, today's episode is gonna be something about feminine energy, luxury brands. Like I live in Dubai, y'all. Everywhere I turn, there is a luxury brand. So, uh, the question I think we want to discuss is: are you a feminine luxury brand?
Yes. Good
So,
question.
so like Rahab, like we grew up in Sri Lanka. I grew up in Sri Lanka. You grew up in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So like when we grew up, like there was luxury brands around, but not the way it is now. Like in Sri Lanka, when I visited Sri Lanka this summer, I saw a lot of luxury brands like having shops and people wearing luxury brands. In the past they used to bring it down, like people travel abroad and they used to buy it abroad and they used to bring it for themselves or for their families and stuff like that. But now it is so prominent, and the young ones are so indoctrinated into these luxury brands. Like as a writer, as a speaker, somebody who sees, I would call you a social activist. As a social activist, how have you seen this trend?
Social media plays a huge role,
Mm,
right? And I think we were just discussing this before we started as well, how you have all of these influencers showing you that, to attract the right man, for instance, you need to be
Mm.
utilizing the right brands, you need to be your Instagram. I think I specifically saw this video. And in a way, it does make sense because you want a man who, again, this is very contentious. Let me not go there yet. But she said that, if you want to attract a man, the right man, your Instagram feed has to reflect that. So she said you have to be at the right places, carry the right brands, dress
Mhm.
a certain way, and then the men looking at your profile would know, okay, this is the kind of woman she is. Is this someone I can, how do I put this without,
Approach.
huh? Yes, someone I can
Approach.
approach, or is this someone out of my league? Right? And wait, sorry. I'm like, my brain is going all over the place. I'm so excited. I have so much to
It's
say. So I'm
okay.
trying to
It's
like come
okay.
back. I
It's
know, right?
okay.
When you're unfiltered, you have so much to say.
Of course, as I
I'm
said, we're
trying to
unfiltered. So,
bring
like,
my crew back to,
let me take you on that. The thing about, the like we spoke, there are so many coaches, okay, online. There's so many coaches, there's so many influencers who are teaching young women who want to get married, who want to find a man in the Islamic, in the Muslim community as well. Okay. It's not only in the Western community, in the Muslim community as well. You have to dress a certain way, you have to speak a certain way, you have to be feminine. So when they say feminine, what the first thing that they show the images of a Muslimah, if she's a hijabi, of course she's wearing a Walla hijab, okay? Let's put it out there. She's wearing a Walla hijab, she's wearing a designer abaya, and then you must see, and her nails are halal nail polish. Wallah, I don't understand halal nail polish, but okay. Okay? Halal nail polish, and her face is done up like model done up. And then
yes,
that is feminine energy. And she's walking slowly, gracefully. And I'm like, wow, that outfit itself, if I'm going to put it in dirhams, it'll be about 5,000 dirhams. That's a monthly paycheck for some men.
yes,
Yeah. So that is how they're promoting Muslim feminine woman.
yes. And even the products, like you said, are extremely expensive. And it's everything that's done is ultimately done with a commercial purpose in mind,
Mm,
right? Everything is marketed in such a way. You see, the most desirable things always have a very hefty price tag, right? And at
mm.
the end of the
Why
day,
do you
it's
call
a
it
it's
desirable?
a
Why do you call it
again, they
desirable?
say to have this, again, certain labeled hijabs, and you have to have that specific brand
Yeah.
to be considered, again, like you said, feminine. You have to have look a certain way, and again, the
Mm,
products that are shown to get you to that point are
mm,
very, very expensive, right?
mm,
So at the end of the day, we are also, we fall for these, we are gullible, and we think,
mm.
we have to spend all of this to look this certain way, and at the end of the day, it's all marketing,
Yeah.
right? It's all about making money. And then they
Mm.
spin all of these feminine narratives into it and these tradwife narratives into it.
There we
And,
are.
we buy it, we fall for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
It's quite
The trad
ridiculous. And
one.
even if you look, I mean, something that really infuriates me when it comes to all of this feminine energy discussions and discourse is the tradwife content,
Mm.
right? Have you seen
Yeah.
all of these
Yeah.
tradwife influencers?
But they're all white.
Yes, right. And do you think most of them do it by themselves? Absolutely not. I'm sure they all have their stuff. I mean, look at Nara Smith. She's well styled top to bottom. Her hair is impeccable. Everything's in place, not a strand out of place. Her
Mm.
designer costumes, and she makes it look so aesthetic. But again, she has this whole crew behind her supporting it, and that's not, again, realistic for the everyday woman, right?
True.
They have
Yeah.
wealth, and she has her own job. She's a
Mm.
model. She makes a lot of money from her content, right?
Mm.
But a lot of women watching this, they don't have any of these supports. They don't have all of these crew walking around to support them. They don't have, house help, right? They don't
Oh,
have any
God.
of this. But they look at this content and this is promoted as empowering, when
Yeah,
in reality it is not very empowering for the women, the consumers,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
again,
it's
they don't
true.
have that financial support. And one of the riskiest things, because I always keep saying this, is anyone, men, women, you need to be financially independent, right?
Correct.
Because I think one of these ladies, the ballerina farm, she spoke
Ah,
about how she wanted to be
yes.
a ballerina, and then her husband just wants her to stay at home and cook, right? Again, he's wealthy, but if
Yeah,
he has multiple kids, if he drops her today, right, what is she without him?
true.
She has no identity outside of this whole trad wife aesthetic. She does not have a
Yeah,
job to support herself. And see, again, anything could happen to her husband. Then what
true,
happens? What if he can't financially provide due to some reason,
true.
right? So it's a
Yeah,
very dangerous idea, because this whole, when you promote femininity in various ways, there's always different ways that it's marketed on social media. It's actually quite dangerous, right? Because you're telling women sometimes to give up their autonomy, give up their financial independence, all of that. I'm not saying, of course, there are many people who live a very happy life being a so-called trad or traditional wife, right? And if it
mm,
works for you, great. But we live in a day and age where it is a huge risk.
it is.
Read the comment sections, and you will see countless women talking about how this is the biggest mistake they made. Now they're
Yes,
unhappy,
yes,
having multiple children, no, and then sometimes their husbands would cheat on them. Now
yes,
they're hanging with nothing. So
yes,
I'm not saying the world is a big bad place entirely, but you have to be realistic about life. I think that is something that, again, this trad wife culture, for example, does not portray accurately, right? Where it's all, sunshines and rainbows and perfection. And you don't think of the dark side of it, how you're manipulated, how you dance to the man's tunes the entire
yeah.
time,
Mm.
right? It's very sad to see.
That is true. And also, see, the trad wife, before you become a trad wife, you become that woman. This is what social media portrays. You become that woman, the high value woman. So every time somebody says you'll become a high value woman, I'm like, ah, every woman is high value. What makes a high one woman high value and one woman low value? Oh no, you have to walk this way, you have to talk this way, you have to have a soft tone of talking, and I'm like, okay, sorry, don't think that works for me. You have to be graceful. You have to. There's another thing that you have to be. Like I said, like a mentee of mine even told me. We were talking before we record. She was like, I follow this dating content. I follow these feminine energy coaches, and I wanted a soft life. I wanted an easy life. I wanted a man to provide. I want all of that. And then she's like, but that made me miserable because I was constantly looking for a man to provide. That made me sad because I couldn't go up in my profession. When she started working with me, the first thing I told her was decentralize men. Please. You want to get married? God has it planned for you. Don't run behind it. We started working together. Literally, she's told me she's my annual mentorship, right? And 6 months into mentorship, she's like, you know what, Riz? This feminine energy bullshit really ruined my life. And I'm like, go on. She's like, if I had followed them, I wouldn't be making this much of money. I wouldn't be this way in my career, and I wouldn't be independent. I would be either dependent on my parents, my father, or I would be looking for a husband. And she's not the first one who told me that. Another mentee also said, like, no, if I had followed the feminine energy concept, I wouldn't have scaled my career. Now she's the head of a department, a huge department. And they keep saying, if I had followed the feminine energy concept, I said, no, you have to understand feminine energy. We all are feminine and we have energy from a sacred womb. That is different from what we are taught. Like, for example, like we said, They have to come up with this hijab or this dress, which is extremely expensive. And the trad wife, to become a trad wife, you have to be that girl who attracts a man who's that wealthy, who wants to keep his woman at home and take care of her. Sounds amazing. Like, for example, Rahab, you were on this work trip, okay, where you had to go to conferences, you had to go to places, meetings, and do write ups, and till late at night you were working. There are times you're like, ugh, man, this is so tiring, this is so exhausting, but I just need a rest. But would you ever go to a state like, man, if I had a husband, I wouldn't be doing this, or I don't want to do this? Have you ever thought like that?
It absolutely has occurred to me.
Mm,
Um, so again, I'm never going to be that person to say that, you know what, you shouldn't envision a happy marital life. You absolutely should, right?
yes,
But I
you should,
feel
yes.
the mistake a lot of women make, and again, this is how we are brought up, this is what we are taught, is to focus on the man entirely, right? And
Yes.
in that process, what you are doing is you're neglecting yourself. The
And
minute
you're
you
not,
neglect yourself,
women forget, you're not making the man powerful or strong. You're just making him weaker.
exactly, right? And see, what happens is that when you don't take care of yourself, when you don't consider yourself, when you don't, at least to an extent, put yourself first. A lot of people don't realize this, but I've seen this over and over again, whether in people's relationships or their marriages, where when you don't respect yourself, your man is
Mm-hmm.
not going to respect you.
100%.
Very, very, very sad. I see women putting their entire focus on men, giving up everything they like for the man, and they think, oh great, I'm sacrificing. But what happens is that eventually that man is losing respect for you because he knows that no matter what he does, he can do the
You would
bare
accept.
minimum, and you will be like, oh great, I'm getting the bare minimum at least. Right? That should not be the case of a relationship, any relationship,
Mm,
whether it is, a friendship or even, a relationship like a husband and a wife, anything, right? It should be one where we enrich each other,
mm,
where we support each other
mm.
in every form, improve each other's lives, not hinder it, right? If one person is constantly giving in, giving in, giving in, giving in, right? Because that's the whole feminine concept, that's what you're supposed to do.
Bang
Eventually,
on.
we
Yes.
get a lot of issues, right? And then you forget that when there are children in the picture, it becomes even more complicated. And children
Yes.
absolutely sense when a relationship is not a happy one.
Yeah.
You look at children who grew up with parents who were absolutely in love with each other, and you see children who grew up with parents where there was no love. You see that
Mm,
difference. Very, very, very obvious, right?
mm.
So, again, with all of these feminine dating coaches and all of that, what kind of message are you sending to the people? What are you teaching them? Is it actually helpful or is it damaging? And quite honestly, I think a lot of what they share is very damaging because they're giving you just the pros of it. They're painting all
Yes.
the sunshines and the rainbows. They're not telling you
Yes.
about the problems that come with it. They're not
Yes.
teaching
Yes.
you to respect yourself. They're not teaching you to love yourself, right? They're not teaching you about self-worth. You know what you deserve, right?
Mm.
Why tolerating less than? It's because they tell you that's the cool thing to do.
Yeah, and also you have to be, you can't nag your man. Okay, listen, you should be nagging your man. I'm all for not nagging anybody. Okay,
Yeah.
you
At
should
least
be, you should be his safe space. And I'm like, who's my safe space then? Like, what are you talking about? And then, oh yeah, you should bring value to his life, and that is how he will choose you. I'm sorry, like, choose me for what? Choose me for what? And this is the feminine energy that they're teaching. This is how you're supposed to be as a feminine. This is your energy. And you have to want a soft life. And I know somebody who was in a relationship and the guy cheated on her. And she was so upset and she was so angry. And she's like, we're broken up. Okay. A couple of months later, he comes back, and she takes him back. And I hear about this. I don't know her. I hear about this. I'm like, very interesting. And then the person was telling me is, yeah, she wants a soft life, and he's rich, so she doesn't need to work. So I see where she's coming from, and I'm like, whoa. So then I asked this person, like, do you think that's right? And she's like, in the past, she's like, in the past, before I had met you, I would have said, yeah, what can she do? She's struggling. She can't find somebody. But now I would say, and this is what she said, now I would say, no, that's wrong, because she's not respecting herself, like you said, and she's not valuing herself, and he will do it again. And he knows that he can come back to her and she'll accept. And this is living the soft life, accepting everything because you want to live the soft life. What do you say?
It's honestly sad, but
It is.
again, in a way, I get it because,
Mm,
especially if you've grown up underprivileged, for example,
yes, yes.
and there's a life that you are now exposed to, you are going to cling to that no matter what.
Mm,
I know a lot of women who are married to a lot of very wealthy men,
mm,
and they turn a blind eye on all the cheating and all of that because
yeah,
they are not going to get this life otherwise. So
true.
it's sad that some people have to do it and it's a choice that they make. But, and again, as much as that's a horrible choice to make, I'm not going to judge them for it because I kind of do understand their need for that. Because once you get a taste of that kind of lifestyle, it's hard to give it up, especially if you've come
True.
from very humble beginnings or you've not experienced any of this. Having even the thought of having to probably give them up can be very difficult. So I do get it, but at what cost? You lose your self-respect, your self-worth. You are genuinely unhappy because your man is out there cheating. And sometimes when they realize that you'll stay no matter what, they're going to treat you badly. They're not going to treat you well. So you're not probably not getting as much love as you deserve, right? So it absolutely is a very heartbreaking thing. Um, but the reality is a lot of women will stand. Wealth is not the only reason. You don't just have to have come from a humble background to want this and crave this. But when you're at that level of wealth, sometimes it's addictive. Everything that money brings is something that not everyone wants to give up, and it takes a lot to be
Yeah.
able to make a choice. So,
Mm.
as much as I don't judge them for having made that choice, it kind of is sad that that's what they choose to do, I think.
I agree. Say more. I'm not judging, but I would say, like, okay, this is your choice. This is the path. But then, like you said, at what cost? Because the cost will show up. The invoice will show up later on. Like we were speaking about child advice. What if he leaves her or he divorces her and she's left with nothing? And like I
Mm.
saw, so there was another lady on social media. She said that she has 5 kids and her husband divorced her. And before he divorced her, he changed his assets into his mom's name. All the assets were for 6 months to 1 year. He started changing all the assets to his mother's name, so that when they divorced, he resigned from his job, so he can't pay alimony because he has no job and he has no assets. There's no marital assets to be separated. So he's like, I've got nothing to give you,
That is
and she's left on
horrible.
the street with 5 kids.
And that this is not uncommon. This is not
This is
uncommon at all. As much as I wish it was, it is not uncommon. There are so many Facebook groups that I keep getting added to all these random Facebook groups, right? So I see, especially a lot of women's groups, and I see women desperately posting about very similar things, where
yeah.
they're left in lurch now, they have nothing left to do, they have no one to turn to, and it's very heartbreaking. But
I know.
again,
Uh,
You're teaching
why
women that
does
you
it
don't
stop?
need to have a job. That looking for a job means you're too forward and you're going against the grain. And you're not supposed to. As a woman, you're supposed to stay at home and cook. That's all you're taught, right? That's what parents teach you. They're like, oh, your husband
Yeah,
is there to take care of you. Okay, but what happens when he stops?
yeah. And what happens when something happens to him?
No, even like many women, again, I've seen a lot of these posts also. I've heard people talking about it as well, where even you have your deadbeat husbands,
Yeah,
right, who do
yeah,
the bed, nothing,
yeah,
and
exactly.
what happens then to the family?
Yeah. Or you have a husband who's addicted to some sort of substance.
Oh, yes.
What then? What then? And he cannot be sober a day. He cannot hold a job down. He can't even do some sort of construction or labor work, even get like minimum wage for a day because he's always stoned. What then?
Yes.
But then see, that's the thing. No, the feminine energy concept is the way they package it. Oh, if you
Yes.
flow in your feminine, you will have everything coming to you. You will magnetize wealth. You will magnetize abundance. You'll magnetize a man. I'm like, you'll magnetize everything, but then you have to put in a lot of internal work.
Yes.
A lot. One of my mentees, she was telling me that we've done 4 months with her, okay, and then she's like, I need to up level to this. I need to up level to that. I'm like, hold on, Tiger. It is not easy. It is not easy. We'll barely scratch the surface with your traumas. It's not easy. We will, but it takes a lot of work. And then one week we did, for one session, we went so deep, so deep with the childhood trauma that she was like, "Oh my God, I feel so better. I feel so relieved." I'm like, "Mhm. We'll see the next couple of days what happens." She messages me today, Riz, I am sick. I'm this, I'm that. This is happening. I'm like, yeah, because we have to take all that garbage out. Your body is revolting. You want to up level 10 times. And you see these feminine energy coaches saying, like, oh, you do this or you do that affirmation, you do your nails like this, you do your makeup like that. And abracadabra, the man's here. I'm like, no, no, abracadabra, no man. Because the work you do takes time.
You
And
know.
this is what I tell these women. And they come to me disheartened. That's why I tell them, I come to me, relationship coach, going through a marriage coach, going through a feminine energy coach, and they're like, you know what? I don't know what to do. Can you help me? I'm like, oh my God, you go through all of them and you come to me now, I have to debunk all of that. So I'm like,
Yes.
wow.
And also, it's something I find really funny is, like we discussed, also a lot of these trad wife aesthetic content is mostly white skinned women,
Yes,
and find a lot of Sri Lankans following these
yes,
content creators, right?
yes.
And the kind of hairdos or the hair colors they promote, the outfits they promote. See, just because something is trending, again, this might be controversial, but just because something is trending does not mean it suits you.
I agree.
Because when I go to the salon, for instance, right? I see women sometimes requesting something you know is not going to work for them. And you see the stylist almost pleading with them, saying, but this is trending, yes. But this color is going to, complement your face. This is going to wash you out. But it's like, no, this is what I want. This is on trend. I want it. Right. So, in the name of looking like your perfect feminine self, you follow these content creators who are perpetuating styles and things that sometimes don't even suit you.
It
Right. There
doesn't.
are several hairstyles that I absolutely love, but I know for the life of me, it's not going to suit my face. I know certain
I
hair
agree.
color, I love it. It's not going to suit me. I mean, I am all for doing what you want. It's your life. You have to live it the way you want. If you want blue hair, go get it. But also, I feel like a lot of us choose to follow trends even at the expense of not looking, of it not suiting us. And the thing why I talk about the fact that sometimes it doesn't suit us is that when you look in the mirror and now you know you don't look as good, you don't feel good, right?
Yeah,
And you don't feel good, that's what you project to the world,
correct.
right? I've had several friends who've also made that same mistake. You know, they'll go for certain hair colors just because it's trending, dismiss entirely what the stylist tells them. And then, when we take group photos, suddenly they're not happy with how they look. Suddenly you see that brightness on the face, it just
Yeah,
goes
the
away because now
sparks.
they know they don't look as good as they could, right? So all of this, again, packaging, we live in such a consumerist world. Everything is packaged for the benefit of the sellers,
I
right? Not
agree.
our benefit. I think the day we
I mean,
realize that,
good. They will
is
realize
when- the day we realize that is when we will be freer, honestly, right?
that
Again, in no way am I trying to perpetuate the fact that you should be unkempt or anything. Absolutely not. Do all of that, feel
you should
good.
be well groomed. No, you
Yeah,
should be well groomed. You should be clean. You should
absolutely.
be neat. You should be
Because
well
it
groomed.
reflects
But
in how you carry yourself as well, right?
yeah,
And
but
I've
that does
noticed
not
that
mean
sometimes when I'm extremely tired, I'll just put my hair up randomly and go. I've noticed that in my body language, where I'm not confident anymore. I make myself smaller. Sometimes even the outfit I wear, I just know I'm not feeling it, right? But when I'm properly, I brush my hair nicely, put on maybe a little bit of a gloss, the confidence I have is different, right?
that's
Again,
true
I'm not
too.
doing this focusing on a man. I'm doing this because it makes me feel good. And I think that is what women need to realize, right? When
But
you feel good, your feminine energy will come out on its own. You don't need anything else,
absolutely,
trying to validate
your
that.
confidence.
Yes, yes, your confidence is everything, right? And again, we go behind the marketing nowadays is so good, right? With these content creators and
Whoa.
brands, they make you feel like I absolutely have to have this so that I am feminine and I am the perfect woman and I'm the epitome of, perfection here. At the end of the day, they just want us to spend all of money, right? And you're living in Dubai where brands are
Yeah.
everything,
Oh
right?
my
I
God,
remember
you have to.
like I got even with my phone, where people would be like, how come you're not using an iPhone? I was like, because it does not work for me. I'm someone who does a lot with my phone. And
Yeah.
for me, an iPhone, it does not work, right? So everything, even in Sri Lanka, is everything. People are becoming extremely brand conscious, right? And Dubai, of course, I mean, we don't have to say anything.
No,
It's no.
you have to, if you walk into the Dubai Mall, you will see models. You will see models. Like I'm like, damn girl, like wear some clothes. You will see models like, oh my god, their hair, their nails, their makeup. And if it's Emirati, oh my god, their bias, their shoes, their makeup, their jewelry. And then you will see them, they have to have that brand. They have to have the
Yes.
brand of handbag, that have brand of shoes, and they wear abayas, which is completely open, and you can see the latest Dior dress underneath. Like they have to walk, they have to have that. And the thing is, I feel that this brand obsession started more in the Gulf, like in the Gulf
Yes.
area, like when oil money started pouring in, right? When oil money started pouring in, the brands like really shifted into, because all of they used to go, I mean, the Saudi women, the Emirati women, the Khaliji women, the Gulf women, they used to go to America, Paris, London to get their stuff, right? And they come back hauling big bags of luxury stuff. And they had to show off to the next family, like the next rich family, like, like, oh, see, my daughter has this. And another one's like, oh, my daughter has this. So it is like the competition among women. And men actually use pour money into that because that's status for them. That's how it started. It was status for them to, for a man, for a Saudi man to say that my wife went to Paris and I have so much money that I fly her to Paris to buy a handbag for her. The other one's like, oh, I fly her here to buy shoes. I fly her to Monaco to buy shoes. So it was like they are so rich, but now that thing has come down because the brands have come to them.
Yes.
So in America in the 70s, in the 70s, 80s, I know in Europe and America, the brands were not that, like, people were not that crazy over brands. But in the Gulf region, the brands were very prominent, extremely prominent, because these women wanted these brands. But only in Europe and America, there were only these elite women, these rich women, these like generational rich women used to have that. And like because these women started having it, then the rest of the world were like, I want. And so I always say that it's the Italian women, the Arab women, and the Latino women that actually perpetuated this brand obsession. Have you heard of, I'm sure you heard of the trend, the mob wife trend, the mob
Yes,
wife
yes.
look. Oh my God, like people like, oh, I'm doing the mob wife look, mob wife look. I'm like, and some of my mentees actually told me about, where's the mob wife look? I'm like, huh. I said, you can't just do with the look. That look is because she's actually a mob wife. And they go like, what? She's actually a mob wife, which means he didn't marry her because she's beautiful. I mean, hello. She married her because she's ruthless. She can do business when he's not there. She can do business in a way that would even put him to shame. She's ruthless. She's not that petite little girl that is on those romance novels and stuff like that. No, no,
Yes.
no, 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 no. Please. And they read these books and like, oh, mob wife, he will take care of me, and this innocent 50 Shades of Grey,
Then,
innocent woman. And I'm like, no, she's an actual mob wife. She's actually married to the mob and she's ruthless. She will kill a man in cold blood. Can you? You can't lift a knife. Then what are you trying to do? This is what I'm saying, because they see it portrayed in such a way. And again, then there's another part of feminine energy which comes with luxury brands. Like the soft feminine energy comes with this soft luxury. Like, you have this little crystal bracelet, and it's like a minimalistic kind of a luxury. Okay. But still, it's luxury. Still, the bracelet, the solid, the Swarovski bracelet cost about like 4,000 dirhams or something. And just
yeah.
one little bracelet. And there is this other feminine energy thing, like the mob wife. Like, she's so the dark feminine. They say the dark feminine. And I'm like, there's no light feminine, there's no dark feminine as such. It's just these terms that the men created to keep us separate. And we fall for it. And this dark feminine where she's so powerful, she will intimidate men, she will do that, she's loud, she's wearing very provocative clothes, and I'm like, I literally said one thing in one of my cohorts. I'm like, guys, either way, you're just creating something for man gaze. That's it. They all lost it. They lost it. I said, you're doing either you're a soft feminine or you're a dark feminine. It's all for a man's gaze. That's what you're doing. Nobody liked it. 15 women were upset. I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to tell you the truth. And they all came back saying, yeah, that makes sense. It's the truth. It's the truth. You're having
Again,
soft makeup for a man. Sorry, go on. Again, you're saying.
no, no, like you said, everything, all the connotations are about whatever you do this, it'll attract this kind of man. You do this,
Yeah,
you'll attract that kind of man,
yeah,
right? So at the end of
it's
the day,
for
even that identity is focused on a man, not about you.
the, exactly. Then where are you? Who are you? What are you building? Oh, and then on top of it all, you flow in your feminine energy and you build your business. All my entrepreneurial mentees, they came to me and said, I couldn't build anything if I'm just laid back and soft and not getting my hands dirty. And I'm like, yeah. They want you to be dependent on a man who will buy you luxury handbags.
Yes.
And then what's the end result? There's a dark underside to this. A very dark underside to this. Like if if all the women, you're a journalist, I'm a writer, author, I'm a mentor. If all of us decided to just be married, give up our careers, give up our jobs, to give up our businesses, and just take care of a man, what kind of world will we have?
True.
The height of patriarchal. We won't have a say. We won't have independence. We won't have freedom. And we wouldn't even mind it.
Yeah,
We
we will
wouldn't
be
mind
okay
it.
with
We'll
that
be
as
okay
well.
with it. We'll be like, yeah, because I'm so busy taking care of I'm so busy knitting blankets. I'm so busy going into pottery classes. I'm so busy going into cookery classes during the day when my kids are not at home. And when my kids are home, I'm too busy trying to mother them and teach them and all of that. And when my husband comes home, I'm too busy feeding him and being with him and spending time and then putting the kids to bed. Khalas, day is done. Where do I have time? So I'm pretty content. So if you keep a woman quiet, men will do anything they want. That
I
is
think,
the underside for all of this.
and we totally underestimate the struggles of the women before us to ensure that
Oh,
we're able to do what we are able to do.
that
And I
pisses me
think
off. Go on.
so true, right? Because they fought so hard that we can have these rights. And then you have women who set us back 1,000 years again with their ideals and their behavior and the things that they talk about and promote. And it's disappointing, right? I think again, people get the wrong idea when you talk about these things because they say, so is that you saying that women have to be like men? No, be like a woman, right? The best
Yeah,
leaders, I mean, multiple studies have shown this, the best leaders are women because we are the
exactly.
ones who, we're empathetic, we're understanding, our leadership styles are, fantastic because we know to work, we are nurturing anyway, right?
Exactly.
So when we work with our teams, that's how we do it. We're not very authoritarian. We don't rule with an iron fist. We rule with love and understanding, and you get best results out of that, right?
And also,
So
the research also says that the best CEOs are women of color.
yes. Did you remember why they said that was? I remember briefly reading this, but I don't recall exactly.
And that's because of their resilience that it took them to climb the ladder because they had to go through so much of discrimination. And that's true. I mean, I worked in Dubai. Come on. I worked in Dubai for nearly 10 years. I know discrimination, especially when they find out which country you're from. Oh my Lord, if you're not from the top countries, like there's a
Yeah,
discrimination. Yeah. So you have to fight tooth and nail to climb the corporate ladder. So the women of color make the best CEOs because they've been through all kinds of discrimination. They've been through all kinds of sexual harassment. Their needs have not been met. Their complaints have not been heard, and they still climb. So when they become leaders, they it's like they're more empathetic and they're very observant with their team that, oh, you're going through this, what happened? Oh, I saw that person, give you a side eye, just a side eye, like, we catch it because we had it. So we're like, oh, that doesn't show team behavior, what's going on? So
true. We
but
notice
then,
all the microaggressions that the others don't.
yes, microaggressions, but then that a white man will miss by a mile. He will miss it because he doesn't understand. He's like, oh no, I never saw that. Oh, there's something like that. No. Really? That's why women of color make better leaders, because we've been through all of that, and we were we're like super vigilant, hyper vigilant, that we literally protect our team.
Very true. That's actually very true. Because it's not just the hurdle of being a woman, you're also a person of color, which I said
Yes.
added hurdles that you've jumped through, and absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, like you was talking about the women who came before us and who fought for all of this. Like sometimes when my daughter's like, I'm so tired, I'm so this, I'm so that. I'm like, listen, darling, we went through the same thing. Okay, we had to go through O levels and A levels, and we still had a hell lot of chores to do at home. Okay, we had to do washing, cleaning, and she's like, I do chores. I said, not the way my mother made us do chores. Okay, so you hardly have chores. You're given more freedom, but we were literally not taught to do so much of chores, and because we went through it and we fought against it. You are sitting here now. You are relaxing. And then she just rolls her eyes. I'm like, yeah. And we tell that to my niece as well. And she's like, she's the same thing. Like, okay, whatever. But then when I look at my mom, like, she had to fight so many things. You know, my father was like, go learn. She got married when she was 16. He was like, go learn, go study. And she actually learned after she got married. She learned English. She learned spoken English. She learned cooking. She had no idea how to cook. She learned cooking, baking, and she did all of that. And she went through so much of that. And then she sent us to schools, because my family is Indian, right? So they have, my mother's generation have this outdated concepts of women and schooling and stuff like that. I'm the first female in my family to go to a co-ed university. Nobody in my family knew I was going to a co-ed university at the beginning. Nobody did. My mother was like, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, because
Controversy.
yeah, massive controversy. And imagine if I'd married outside the family, khalas, I don't know what would have happened. So my father was like, let's tell. No, 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 you don't tell anybody. The sits up is very difficult. And then we send her, and then we can't do this. Oh my God. So, like, I see the struggles that she went through. So, to make it not, now my kids go to a co-ed school. Like, it's normal. And when I tell my mother that she's going to a co-ed school, she's like, yeah, so what? That it's normal. I'm like, huh? I went to a co-ed university. You nearly had heart palpitations. She's like, that's like 25, 30 years ago. Don't talk about that. So that's the thing. So the women before us, even in Sri Lanka, oh my God, when I was growing up, as Muslims, you would see this section of Muslims who are like, oh, when you're 16, 17, you should get married. And there are women who fought against it, saying, no, I won't get married. In my family, marriage was not a question. Like, it was an unspoken rule by my father that, you either you study well or you getting off married. That's the thing my mother always told me. Either you study well, you get good grades, or if we see that you're not that smart, we get you off married. And I was like, not
Oh, that's
happening. And we spoke to my
nice.
mom about it. She's like, there's no other way to get you to study. There's no other way that you will study. Otherwise, you won't study. And I'm like, what? Get me married when I'm 17? Not happening. She's like, anyhow, it was not going to happen. But there was no other way for us to push you. Alhamdulillah. So that's what I'm saying. The way women before us, even in Sri Lanka, like there's so much advancement now in terms of women's education, women's rights. It's because of all the women who fought for it, who fought against their family norms, who fought against their parents, saying, no, I'm not going to accept this. And they're the ones who like paved the way forward. 20 years ago is not what Sri Lanka is now. My goodness, the amount of freedom, the amount of openness is because women, every generation, had to fight.
Oh, yes. And again, there are others who set women back multiple
Yeah,
years at the
true.
same
That's
time.
also true. and the others were also women.
Yes, yes, we are. I wrote about that also, that we are our own biggest enemies, to be quite honest.
Yes. Yeah, we are. We are because we like another mentee of mine, she is Moroccan, right? But she lives in the UK. So she was saying that it was her mom who was fighting against advancement, who was like, no, women can't do that, or women can't do this, or we have to do this, women have to do that. And she was fighting against her mom. And she was like, that's because that. And she was like, I don't want, she had a huge fight with her mom, and she's like, I don't understand why she's like that. And I explained to her, that's her world. You're trying to collapse her world. You're trying to break apart her world that is normal to her. So what's her identity gonna be? If you're going to dismantle all her old beliefs and you're trying to introduce your new beliefs, it'll take her time to accept, and then she will feel left out. And that's why women fight. Older women fight against reforms, against this soft girl concept. Again, girl. Okay, concept is because they don't know anything new.
Sure.
Don't you agree?
No, I absolutely agree with that. Because, see, even us, to an extent, we hold on to certain beliefs, right? The things
Mm,
that we learn
mm,
in our day and age, we hold on to it and we hold on to it tight.
mm.
And when somebody else comes to tell us that, you know what, this is not the way, it's not always that we are willing to see otherwise
Yeah.
because it feels right to us.
Yes.
Because this is a different time. Yeah,
Mm.
so we will hold on to these beliefs, and the next generation, when they come up with something new, we might be a bit more rigid before accepting that, you know what, maybe this is a different way of doing things. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that problem will always kind of persist no matter what.
Mm.
But I think through, again, this is something that we discuss over and over again, is that with more open and honest conversation, this is slowly but surely changing. You know, a lot more
Yeah.
people are beginning to see different perspectives and understand different things, right? And
And
realize that,
also, do you think the change is because there is a, a lesser gap in the social hierarchy?
sorry, I missed what you started off with.
I said, do you think that there's more acceptance because there's a lesser gap in social hierarchy?
That is definitely, I think, um, one reason. Um, but also see, it's a lot to do with accessibility also. You know, it's not like we're
Mm,
closed off like before where we didn't know what was happening, right? The
mm,
generation before us, they literally knew nothing beyond their four walls, the confines
yeah.
of their walls.
Mm,
But we, for us, it's different. Even for our parents now, my parents, they have access to the internet, they have social
yeah.
media, they talk to different
Yeah.
people, they travel. So for them, again, when you're more exposed to these things, it's easier for you to also be a lot more open-minded
Mm,
when people, like sometimes when I would share certain perspectives with my mom, for example, even my dad, they're more willing to listen and understand
yeah.
that, you know, what
Mm,
things have changed. This is how people are thinking nowadays. And again, that is because of their access to the world. The more closed off that
accessibility.
I see, whether it's governments or even certain religious institutions or certain people, the minute they try to control you is when they try to cut off your access to information, when they
Yeah.
isolate you. I mean, look at cults,
Yes.
what they do.
Yeah.
They take you to the middle of nowhere where you have access to nobody, so you can't
Correct.
see, less opportunities for others to say, what on earth are you doing? Right?
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
cults isolate people,
Yes.
right? The minute you're cut off from information, it's a one-track mind. So even with all of these feminine things or
Mm,
thinking, and the algorithm also rewards this, right? So if on
yes.
TikTok, if I engage with all of Nara Smith's videos and I like it and I comment it on it, everyone's
It
going to
will.
like, keep showing me similar content. And then
Yes.
suddenly
Yes.
my world is consumed by trad wife content. And the more I
Yes.
these videos, the more I get influenced,
True. True,
right?
true, true.
So it makes all of the difference, I think.
Accessibility. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, another thing that I think there are two things I want to mention before we wrap up. One thing is like the amount of makeup, cosmetic marketing that's pushed to us. Like you can wear like 10 layers of makeup and you still look natural. Like
Yes.
you look like a clean girl aesthetic. Yeah, you look like clean girl, but you have to wear this primer, this foundation, this concealer, this that. Like you put here, you put there. Like guys can't even see under your eyes, under your cheekbones, and everything. And then at the end of it, you look like natural. And it took you half an hour and 10 layers. And
Yes.
seriously, I've seen that, and I'm like, okay, you do look nice, but you do look like you don't have any makeup on. That's the point. Oh my god, it cost you $300 for all of that. Amazing. For us, just wash your face, put powder, and go.
True. I mean, at the end of the day, everything is about consumerism, right?
Exactly, and
You buy
all
products you
the
don't even need.
all of that chemicals will change
Yeah.
your feminine energy.
Oh, very, very true. And
People
the
don't
risk,
understand
we don't
that.
realize it.
They
I
don't
mean, generally,
understand. Mm.
I mean, full disclosure here, one of the reasons I don't wear any makeup is because I tried once, I'm really bad at it. So I generally have nothing against people who choose to do it. But again, what bugs me is that when you do it for not for yourself, but for others,
Yeah.
again, you should be able to do what you want. But it saddens me when I see people doing it just to get the man or attract the man, not because it makes you feel good personally. I know people who hate it, who wear it because, oh, let men will notice me, right?
Ah,
Again, whole packaging is what genuinely bugs me. I might get hate for this, but to be honest, whatever you do, do it for yourself.
I
That's
agree.
something I can tell you. Do it for yourself because when you're centering other people, you forget yourself. And if
Yeah.
you forget yourself, you're neglecting everything to do with yourself, your self-worth, your self-identity. You lose yourself, right? And when you've lost yourself, who's going to respect you for that? Who's going to respond to you for that? No one.
And how you going to generate your feminine energy when you don't have self-respect?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what people don't understand. No, see, you want to be caked in a bag of flour? Be my guest. You want to walk out? Like, I mean, I live in Dubai. We see everything. Like, you will see everything. You will see women in handkerchief dresses where I'm like, look away it is. Okay, literally handkerchief dresses where things might just pop out if you move it wrong way, and you will see women completely covered in absolute robes, and you will see women in the skimpy whatever, but they're doing it for, and you know the energy when they're doing it for themselves.
Yes,
You
yes,
you you don't they don't need to say a word, and that's the confidence. I've seen young women wearing some skimpy clothes, and it seems so comfy. They're so comfortable, and it's like they're so comfortable in what they're wearing.
you
Nobody
can
else
see.
matters. And I've
And
seen
it
women
resonates.
who are wearing like nice, and it gives me. And I've seen women wearing nice elegant clothing, but they can't carry it because they want to show it off. So it's your
Yes,
energy. As I said, you want to walk around in a goni, I don't care. You want to walk around with flour on your face, do it for you, and that's confidence. That is
yes,
true confidence. And your feminine energy does not come from luxury brands. And there's another misconcept. Uh, the luxury brands that we see are like the lower level of luxury brands. You as a
yeah,
journalist know this. There's a
yes.
lower level of luxury brand. There are other luxury brands which many people don't even know. I mean, I'm not
For the
saying this
name
to
of, yeah.
brag. One of
No, no,
my father's friend gifted him a watch. This is about 30 years ago. A brand unheard of by me. I'm like, why did I use this brand? Like, what is this? My father got so upset. He's like, you don't know this brand? I'm like, oh, my arrogance. Unknown brand. He was like, you're definitely not educated. What's what is it? I'm like, it's not a Gucci or a Prada or whatever. And he's like, oh, clearly you don't know. So that was a hard lesson from my father. But then he was telling me about the brands that that is not out there, which is so expensive that not common people can't even see it. So when somebody walks up with an LV bag or a Gucci bag or a Prada, I'm like, okay, okay, what are you trying
yeah,
to prove? But then this is what is promoted. This is what is
true.
told. This is what is told. But if you go to some of these malls in Dubai, you will see brands you've never heard of, and those
Yes,
those shops are deserted because they're so expensive. And the
yeah,
last thing I want to end with is why are we constantly told soft girl era, clean girl aesthetics? Why is the word girl being pushed to us?
because when it comes to women, men are obsessed with young women. Really think about it.
That's the scary part. That's the dark side of it. And we all fall for that.
Yes,
We perpetuate it unconsciously.
yes.
My 17-year-old told me something which I looked at her like, you're too young to talk like this. She said, Mama, you see artists online, like, you see gacha artists and manga artists, drawing little girls. And you ask the question, like, why do you like drawing little girls? And I looked at her like, are you growing up too fast? And she's like, that's the world.
And it's
It
never
it
just a
shook me.
little girl, no? It's a babyish face with very voluptuous assets,
Yes,
let's say.
yes, yes. And short, not tall. And
Yes,
the height has to be a particular height. The curve has to be in a particular way. The face has to be wide-eyed.
exactly.
And that innocent look.
Yes, it's frightening. And like you said, that's a dark side of things.
And
I think
that
that's
dark side we are perpetuating.
an entirely
I
different conversation that is,
Yes, I think we will have that as well. But then imagine
right?
how I mean, not teen. Now we have teenagers who look grown up.
That
What
is
on
so true.
earth is that? My daughter comes shows me, she's 15. I'm like, damn, she looks like she's 20. She's like, yeah, that's a makeup. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And she showed me a picture. She's like, Mama, can you believe this girl's 13? I'm like, what the hell is she wearing? How did her mother allow her to wear this and come online?
True. It's
They've
nowadays
grown up
little
fast.
girls do not look like little girls. They look like
No,
adults. Sad.
they
I mean, you're not going to get that time back in your life. Allow yourself to be a child. I mean, to an extent, it's an adult's responsibility as well. Because when you're that young, you just want to go with the flow, you want to go with the trends, right? But an adult should know better
it's
sometimes
social media. Yeah.
because you're trying to grow up
Why
so
are the
fast, plenty of
adults
time that you're going to
Yeah,
wish you could
why
go back
are
in time.
adults? My daughter says she sees young girls in the malls and they're dressed, inappropriately, and I'm like, oh, she's such a child. Why is she dressed like that? And my daughter looks at me and says, that's her mother's job. And I'm like, you're right, because the mother should have told her. And I told her, you're right. The mother should have told her not to wear. And my daughter was like, no, the mother shouldn't have bought that. I'm like, damn straight. Who buy? And she's like, who buys those clothes? I'm like, yeah. Like, and she's like, who buys my clothes? Me. I said, yeah. And you buy those? Hell no.
I
And
mean,
she's like,
even for
so
toddlers, I think that's more frightening. Even some of the outfit for toddlers, very
Oh my
inappropriate.
God, the
I mean,
way.
mothers should not be wearing things, certain things. And it's scary because the parents would then post these videos and pictures, and who saves all of these? It's a lot of grown men who are consuming this
Pre-
content.
Preschoolers should not be wearing two-piece swimsuits.
Agreed. And even these crop tops with their belly popping out, it's cute to us. We think it's adorable, but unfortunately, it's, the world is a scary place. I'm not saying you need to, cater to the world all the time, but when you're a child, dress like a child. There's
And then
plenty of
there's
time for you to grow up and wear your two pieces. Do it then, not now.
And then there's something we just said, which a lot of women don't realize. Crop tops with your belly button showing. That is your life force energy there. The life force energy is in your belly button. This is taught to us in our ancient Ayurveda, in different Vedas. It has been taught to us that the belly button of a female is where her life force energy enters through. And if your mothers put these crop tops on their little girls and with their belly button showing, their life force energy is literally being sucked out. And if the child is online, how many unwanted men would absorb that child's energy? That is
Yeah.
serious. This is very serious. There are certain parts of a woman's body should not be exposed. And it's a very controversial topic. And I even fight with my daughter. I'm like, listen, that day she was, when she hears it, she's going to scream at me. I was like, listen, if you're okay with your hormones being disrupted, your energy being depleted, yallah, do what you want. I ain't interested. Don't come to me and tell me this, this, fix me. I ain't not going to be bothered. And then she's like, fine, bro. I said, yeah, fine, bro. But I know, but there are some mothers who don't know. There's some mothers who don't. The hormonal imbalances of our women now, PCOS, infertility, all of this has starts with the way we dress and the way we expose certain energy centers of our body.
I see.
This is not told openly. It's scary. When I learned it, I'm like, can I just use a blanket to cover myself? Because I'm scared now. There's so many parts of a woman. And the thing is, online, there are communities and cults to absorb energies online. It's scary.
Wow.
It is scary. I even wrote about
Not
it
know about
a
this.
year
Yeah.
ago. Be careful of what you consume on social media because that consumes you. Because it's all energetic footprints. Your energy is there and it is being absorbed.
Very interesting.
Very
Okay,
scary.
I think that was a better word. Scary.
Very scary. I mean, the things that I've learned, like, I'm like, oh my God. When I see little girls, like in these beauty pageants and stuff, I'm like, you're
Yes.
destroying that child. You're destroying that child. That child is going to have, of course, and when they're a teenager, then you will see hypersexuality, depression, substance abuse. There's a correlation, absolute correlations. It didn't
True.
just start overnight.
Yeah, that's the thing people don't realize. They think, oh, how did this suddenly show up? I mean, look at the pattern,
Mhm.
look at the history, look at the journey to get to this point.
Yeah, and you have to be observant, and your job as an older sister or a mother or an aunt or a grandmother is to know how to protect the vulnerable females of your family. Now, even little boys have to be protected.
Yes. Yes.
Their energy, oh my God, the way little boys' energies are harnessed. Yikes. I, I have to write a book about it because I get chills. I have a little boy, and I'm like, oh my goodness. The way these people, these predators do things, they don't need to touch you. They don't need to touch you. All they need is a camera lens. That's it.
True.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And not even a fancy camera lens, even very normal drugstore camera lens. Just put it there and then take whatever recording because they know how to absorb the energy through the feed.
Hmm.
It is scary. It is scary. I get
That is.
pissed when I see little girls in my family dressed in a certain way. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be that aunt, like that grumpy aunt, but seriously, you do not know what's happening because I can see it. And I guess this is a blessing and a curse when you literally can see energies. It's nice, but
Yes.
it's also not nice because you can't move in public. You can't. There are days I'm like, I don't want to go out. Not interested. I don't want to see anybody.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah. Well,
Yes.
that's as unfiltered as we can get, I guess.
Yes, very, as usual.
As usual, Alhamdulillah. Final words before we wrap up. That was fun.
Final words. To be your feminine self, as we both mentioned, I think individually, is to learn to love yourself, to do things for yourself, to know your self worth, to figure out what your self identity is, and most importantly, respect yourself. Because if you don't respect yourself, trust me, no one else is going to respect you. And if you're unhappy with yourself, that femininity, that confidence, it's not going to show up. So that is, I think that's what I'm going to close with today.
Wow. Amazing. Well, I would say is, like I said, dress the way you want to dress. Go out in a jute, in a goni bag. Go out in a bag full of flour, but do it with confidence that you're doing it for you. In that way, you're creating a protective bubble. You're literally creating a protective bubble around you that nobody can absorb your energy because you're like, I'm doing this for me, and this is me, and you're being authentic about it.
Mm.
In that case, you have a complete bubble, and many times people won't even see you. You will be invisible because you're in the bubble.
True. Very true.
You can live the way you want to live by in complete protection.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah. All right. Jazakallah khair for everybody listening. Jazakallah khair, Rahab, for joining this week. We don't know
Yes.
what we are going to do next week. We shall see that,
As
inshallah.
always, we'll figure it out.
We always decide something just before we start the episode. We're like, oh, what are we talking about? Like, we'll see. Okay.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. So, I mean, it's spontaneous and it's unfiltered. So, we're not like preparing ourselves to talk about something. We're just going with the flow as a conversation. And that's what I
Yes.
love about this. Khair.
So,
Jazakallah khair again. Thank you for joining us on the Sensual Womb Whispers a podcast by the House of Sacred Space. And I am Rizana Shah Jahan of the Razak. Masalama.